Okay. You said something about a cousin, Aline Greenelch?
About a what?
A cousin named Aline Greenelch?
Aline Greenelch, yeah.
Talk about her. I've never heard her name before.
Well, Aline, Uncle Will was one of the oldest of my dad's brothers. And Aline, they used to, when you come to about 7, 8 o'clock at night, they would have apples, they'd have popcorn, they'd have pie nuts, and they would have a party. And you know, my dad had to go to bed 7, 8 o'clock at night. Dad never stayed up. I don't think he ever stayed up till 8 o'clock at night. But anyway, you go down to Aline's and they would have, I can remember when they used to do pie nuts. I can still smell those pie nuts. They would put a pan of pie nuts in the oven and they'd have pie nuts and they'd have not just bowls of ice, but tubs of popcorn, and it was fun. But Aline was kind of one of their last child. She was one of their later. They had older. In fact, they were some Aline's older sisters were old enough to be my mother almost. But Aline was. I won't forget. But my mother and dad, we used to have 2 trees, a couple of blocks from our place, and the 2 trees were so big they met each other at the top. And Mama said, "I don't want you going down to Aline's at night. If you're going to go down to Aline's, you can't go at night." But there used to be tramps and stuff, and they figured something bad would happen. But I went to Aline's anyway.
What about the trees? What did the trees have to do with that?
Well, they were, I can't remember what they were called, maple trees, but it was shaded. It was just like a cave when you walk to the corner. The trees were overhung.
Kind of dangerous.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you share a bedroom with your siblings? Or did you have your own bedroom all the time?
Well, my second sister was Venice and Rosamond, and see, they were close enough in age. The 2 of them shared, but no, I had a room to myself most all the time. I don't remember sharing a room with them.
What kinds of things did you collect and display in your room? What did you keep in your room? What was special? What did you have in your bedroom?
Well, I liked vases, and I used to go out to a little acorn tree, and I could remember bringing acorns in, and we used to have little things made with acorns.
Did you play with somebody else?
Yeah, we used to go with Belva Hall, and we used to.
She'd come over to your house and you'd play with the acorns?
Well, we'd do it. We'd go down I can remember way down at the bottom of the lawn. We used to gather acorns and make things out of them.
Make things? What did you make out of them?
Oh, we had little cups and saucers. We'd set the table.
That's cool.
Yeah. But the acorn comes with a tip on the end, and you pull it off, and it'd be just like a cup and saucer. And we used to play house with them.
That's cool. Where did you go the first time you moved out of your parents' home?
Where did I move?
The first time that you left your parents' home, was that when you got married?
Yeah, when I got married.
Okay. So...
The first place I went to was Verona and Ellis. I left home and moved. In fact, I was going to stay there. See, I wanted to get me a trousseau, and anyway, I got a job in California.
What was your job?
Being a nanny for a well-to-do family. I was a nanny. A nanny.
You said something about you had to answer the door or something.
Yeah, I had to wear a uniform with a little cap on my head, and I had to take a plate and silver. It was a silver dish, and I had to take that, and then I had to have a calling card, and then I could bring the calling card in. Her name was Bethany Jenkins. I hope I can always remember her name, but I had to take the card into Bethany Jenkins, and then but she was an admiral's wife, and she had a sickly little boy. As I remember, he was sickly. Looking back at it now, I wondered, but he was an admiral in the Navy, and they had one whole wall into a ship. It was I wish I could have taken a picture. You could have done now, but that was the most beautiful, and it was lit up. It
Really?
But he was I can't remember. I have to look back and see how old he was, but somewhere 8, 9 years old, something like that. But the one whole wall, they had this ship. Oh, it was beautiful. But anyway, I was to take care of him. Anyway, and
How old was this little boy?
I don't know. I'd like to go back. I think I've got some notes somewhere, but I don't know how old he was.
You also said something.
He wasn't. I don't think he was only 5, 6. He wasn't going to school, so
He was younger than
yeah,
5
he
then.
would be younger than school age. Yeah.
You said something about how impressed you were with, I think it was oranges or grapefruit or something.
Well, what I liked was the trees. What is it they call it? Their trees.
The trees.
Oh, what is
Palm
it?
trees?
Palm trees, yeah, your palm tree. I thought I was in heaven. I thought that was second paradise. See, I lived in Santa Quinn. We didn't have anything that looked like that, but I won't forget how, I thought that was just like going to paradise with those beautiful palm trees. And that's the first thing that we had taken out here in Yuma. Your dad had, Larry had the neighbor here come in with a big machine to pull out the palm trees. And that's one of the main reasons that I bought this place in Yuma. I love the palm trees.
Why did he have it taken out?
In Yuma, they charge you $100 or $200 a year because they have to come and spray it. They said they're susceptible to bugs.
Oh.
And right now, you walk through Yuma, down the block around the Yuma, you don't see very many palm trees, but it's they don't want the palm trees. No, I thought they were so pretty.
Yeah, that's too bad. How many different homes or apartments have you lived in?
How many what?
Homes or apartments have you lived in? After you got married, where did you go?
Oh.
You went to Provo in a brand new house, didn't you?
I lived in Vincent Apartments, and then I lived in
Was that in
back
Provo?
of J.C. Penney's.
Was that in Provo?
What?
In Provo?
In Provo.
Vincent Apartments?
Vincent Apartment. Yeah, that's when we got married. We lived in Vincent Apartments.
Oh, I've never heard this story.
Well, gee, I had a gas stove. That's what I had in the apartment. And when I come in, I had a basket full of clothes. I put it underneath I didn't have any place to put it. I was limited for space. I put it underneath the stove, and it scorched my
Your clothes?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, dear. You're lucky it didn't burst into flames.
Well, I probably could have done. I don't know. I was naive. I thought it was okay. It was underneath the stove.
Oh, dear. I've never heard that before either.
No.
So you went from there to, where did you say you went after Vincent Apartments? A home or something behind J.C. Penney's?
Well, it was a home that, let's see, they had water. Yes, they had water in the house. We had a water tap. We had to be.
How in the world was, after you left that house, Dad built you a brand new house?
Yeah, we built a
How
house.
did you afford a brand new house?
Yeah, we built a new house.
How could you afford that?
On his wages,
He just saved his money and you got a loan?
I can't remember the loan company. Yeah, we paid so much a month on the, yeah.
And what was that house like? Was it a brick home? Was it how many
no,
bedrooms?
No. It was just a frame home.
How many bedrooms? How big was it?
Well, we had 2 bedrooms upstairs. I had a couple, they weren't finished downstairs.
Oh.
We had 2 bedrooms upstairs. And I used to have a couple of girls from Wyoming that rented, but they rented a basement room. And it really, right now, you couldn't get anybody to live in that. It was just a basement room. And I even let Bethany, Lou, her name was Lou Naramore. I even let them move in a gas stove so they could warm a can of soup. But they were not supposed to eat. They were just supposed to live, just sleep there. And go. They were going to Y, but they had to have this little gas stove. And I can remember Lou Naramore's mother used to come with how I loved, she'd bring me a loaf of homemade bread, and she was just like a mother to me, and she was so appreciative. But I can't think her.
Who was that?
The other girl was named Shirley, and the other one was Lou Naramore, and I can't think how in the world they would even live there. It was not.
It wasn't finished?
It wasn't even finished. I can't remember the room even being. I wonder if Larry could remember the room even being finished, Renee.
Wow.
They lived down in and they had I had my washer and dryer downstairs, and it was, but how in the world they would even live there? But you'd see them come running in the house, and they'd go downstairs, they'd put this little kettle in, they'd fix them a bowl of tomato soup, and see if they didn't get meals. I once in a while I would fix something. I would send, like I do, send something down to them. But I think of that. I think if that was my girls, I wouldn't let them live there. They could sure find something better than that.
Maybe the price was right.
Renee, I can't remember. I don't even remember what we charged for it.
Huh.
But your dad and I even moved. We had just a couple of single beds. We moved downstairs. It's when they built the steel plant. And Daddy Long and Walter had them. And Daddy Long was a big shot. He was a big shot at the Geneva Steel. He was, I don't know, one of the main ones that built the, but anyway, they lived across the street. And your dad and I decided it had food rationing and things were getting tight and everything. They were going to war and all this. And so we said, well, we better we rented 2 bedrooms out, and we went downstairs and slept on I think it was just a single, it wasn't a bedroom set.
Was this before Larry was born?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so what, did you go upstairs to fix meals then, or what?
Oh, I had the whole house. I slept downstairs. So
oh.
I just had,
did you have to fix meals for them?
The only thing that upset me, Daddy Long liked
Sit back because we lost your picture. Okay.
He liked his cocktail, and I had beautiful furniture. I had a nice bedroom set. It wasn't, I don't know whether it was considered what the price of it now, but it was a nice bedroom set.
What did he do to it?
He had his liquor. He had his bottles on top of when you could imagine what that would do. But anyway, I always planned on having them for Sunday. I told them I wasn't fixing meals for them, but Sunday they could plan on Sunday. But anyway, they'd come up for breakfast. They'd come out of their room for breakfast, and they would, is it all right if we have coffee royal? I had never heard of the word coffee royal, but they would have what they called coffee royal. But I made coffee for them. But anyway, they would have the coffee, and they'd pour I don't know what it was, bad. I don't know liquors, but it was either
Oh, they
brandy
put liquor
or
into it.
whiskey, and they called it. They was that all right, Dilla? If we had coffee royal, no, that's okay. But they had coffee royal.
So did the bottle of liquor leave a mark on your side table, or?
Oh well, no, nowhere, but only on my dresser.
Oh, on your dresser there was a mark?
No, and they were very, and they would take us to Wicks just about every week. And Wicks up Provo Canyon was a specialty in steak. And it was that at the time when they had rationing. You had to have a coupon with red coupons to buy steak. And you only got so many coupons to buy steak. But they would take us up to Wicks and for steak,
Wow.
just about at least once a month we would go up to Wicks.
Wow,
and
that was something to look forward to.
But Walt had him. He was just an ordinary guy, but Daddy Long was a big shot, and he dressed. He had beautiful white shirts and beautiful clothes, but anyway, Walt even got a golf ball, a golf bag, a golf stick, and cut down for Larry so Larry could have a. And I don't even know to this day what happened to that golf stick, but he made Larry a golf stick so Larry could go golfing.
That's awesome. Talk about how you left this brand new home.
I moved to Mapleton.
Yeah, and this house was kind of run down.
Well,
why?
It wasn't run down that bad. It wasn't run down that bad.
Well, why did you go along with that?
Because your dad was a fit to be tied. Every night he wanted to go in the car and go for a drive. He wanted to do this. He wanted to do that. He was restless, and he wanted to get out to where he could have a cow and then have this. And I guess that's the reason I went along with it. I absolutely did not want to sell my new home and move to Mapleton, but anyway,
you did anyway.
I needed to for your dad's sake. Your dad was very, like I say.
There wasn't anything to do in the Provo house?
Did what?
There was no projects or anything to do when you were living in Provo.
That's probably what it was. That exactly, you hit the nail on the head. Absolutely, you understand the program, the problem.
So, if you were going to name the cities that you lived in, it was Santaquin, then Provo, and then Mapleton. Have you lived anywhere else besides those three places?
No, I moved from Santaquin to Provo.
And then to Mapleton,
And
right?
That's the only place I've lived in.
Okay. Did you gain anything by moving?
Well, absolutely. We gained eight acres of ground. We sold. We even is called Christensen subdivision. We owned the whole subdivision in Mapleton, but we had eight. Our deed reads 8+, so we had 8 acres in Mapleton, and we sold the 8 acres and built a new home in Mapleton.
What did you do with the 8 acres?
They sold it for something.
I know, before. When you first moved there, what did you do?
We had horses. We had about, I think, I told Larry, I think it was 23 head of sheep. I remember us having 23, and I'm not sure, but we had sheep. We always had a little pony for the kids, a little Shetland pony. Every one of you kids had a Shetland pony. And had a Shetland pony. We had a bunch of chickens. I can remember your dad, he went and got these exotic chickens and he brought them and he was going to put them in my basement. I said, ooh, you can smell those chickens. And I said, absolutely, you get those chickens. Finally, he built a little coop out the back. And anyway, for the chickens, but we had chickens and we had, he even got a billy goat. And I would say don't ever have a billy goat. That's
They
the worst
stink.
thing.
They stink.
That's the worst thing you can have. But we had always had horses. Larry had a riding horse. I don't know if any of the other kids did, but I remember as a little black we called it a nigger horse. But
Didn't you used to ride horses with Dad?
in fact, we even rented horses from Spanish Fork, and we went on a trip up Spanish Fork. Yeah, I used to ride.
Did you like riding horses?
What?
Did you like riding horses?
I loved riding. I rode horses in Santa Fe. I had my own horse in Santa Fe. It was Jude. We called her Jude. Called her Jude Mare.
I've never heard that before.
I always had a horse in Santa Fe. In fact, I rode a horse pulling the cultivator down, cultivating fields and fields of potato when we planted potatoes. My dad had a temper, and if the horse didn't step up, he would whack the horse. And of course, you know what the horse would do when you do that. But anyway, I had a horse all my life. I can't ever remember being home and never having. I had what they called Jude, the Jude Mare.
And didn't she plant a big garden too? And had lots of fruit trees and a garden?
In Mapleton, yes, we had about, I would say, a quarter of an acre. And they had apples you would never see prettier. They were just young trees. But we used to go down to Ephraim. Your dad used to go down to Ephraim, and we couldn't even get $3 a bushel. He'd go to old people that he knew in Ephraim, and we couldn't even get $3 a bushel out of the apples. But we finally got rid of all the apple trees.
Because they weren't making any money?
No, but now, my word.
Yeah, they're expensive now.
Pay 50 cents a piece for an apple.
Yeah. Did you miss having your brand new house? Moving to Mapleton?
Well, we got our house fixed up in Mapleton. I thought it was fairly nice.
Well, Dad remodeled every single room in the house, didn't he?
Well, I absolutely miss my new house. Absolutely.
Well,
of course I missed it.
Dad made up for it.
Yeah.
He got you a brand new house to live in right now,
Yeah.
huh? Yeah. Okay. Where did you spend most of your time besides work or school?
Oh, I guess on the farm.
Working with your dad on the farm?
I used to help in the fields. Help with the hay. They put up the hay, and I used to chop hay. And he used to come in, and we used to have a Johnson hay fork, put it up into the barn. And Grandma Jensen, I remember I used to drive the tractor to pull the hay up into the barn. Anyway, they let Gerald drive the tractor, and Grandma Jensen really showed my dad out. You put Della on the easier job. You let that Gerald do something. But they always favored Gerald. Gerald was the poor little boy in Santa Quinn.
Did you have a refuge from the stresses of your regular life when you were living in Santa Quinn? Did you go somewhere to get away from, it was stressful probably, all this work that you had to do. You wrote down that you went to Grandma Jensen's.
Did I do what?
You wrote down that to escape the stresses of life in Santa Quinn, what did you do?
In Santa Quinn? Well, I got out of Santa Quinn as good as I could.
Yeah? You married Dad. Yeah, is that one of the reasons why you got married when you were so young?
Well, practically.
And did you go somewhere to escape?
No, I stayed in Santa Quinn all my life.
Yeah, but didn't you go somewhere to get away from things like Grandma Jensen's house?
Well, I used to go to Grandma Jensen. Yeah, I used to go with Aunt Rose, and Aunt Rose, I used to go to dances even with Aunt Rose.
Okay. What do you love most about where you live now?
What do I like most about what?
Where you live now. What do you like the most? What do you like most about where you live now?
Oh, I think Mapleton.
What do you love about living in Mapleton?
Oh, the association, the friends, the family.
Having family around you?
Yeah.
What about your new home? What do you like about your new home?
Well, I like the new the flooring, the washer, the dryer,
big.
all the conveniences.
Yeah, it's big. Why do you think that Dad built such a big house?
I don't know, because we made the money selling the property. We had 8 acres, and we had a a grandson that built our home, and we were able to. Anyway, we picked out plans. We both picked out plans that how we wanted our house built, and we could not have done it if we had to have the 8 acres of ground to sell. See, we sold that.
Yeah, but how many bedrooms do 2 people need?
You what?
How many bedrooms do 2 people need? Why did you have so many bedrooms?
I don't know. We built according to our plans that we had.
What would you change about it? Is there anything you
I
change?
would not have as big a home. That's what I would change about it. I sure never would have had that big a house. Right now, even to have the wallpaper, to have the carpeting, and it's too
big.
Yeah, and I don't even like the bigger house because of the yard. The big, plenty of yard to mow, and I would like to have had something even like Mark and Jan, just something that looked really nice and convenient, but I would never go into a big house if I had it to do over again.
Well, Dad liked doing the yard work when his health was good enough. He liked having a big yard that he could work with.
He liked what?
He liked having a big yard.
Yes.
Mowing it and everything.
Yeah, if you saw your dad right now, he'd be out there on the lawnmower.
Yeah, he mowed like every other day.
Okay. He liked to do the yard work. He liked to do. He liked to paint. He liked to.
Okay. What city do you consider your hometown?
Well, Mapleton's our hometown.
Okay. What are the barest essentials you would need to make any place a home?
What's the bare? Well, washer, and a dryer, furnace, electric stove, lights.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Like we're talking about just bare bones. What do you need?
About what?
Just bare bones. What do you need in a house to be happy?
Well, I got to have carpeting. I've got to have a decent flooring.
Okay.
And
Do you have to have a big
nice
bedroom?
walls. I would like nice woodwork, and I have nice woodwork and nice windows.
Okay. Do you know where you'd like to be laid to rest one day?
Mapleton.
I thought the cemetery was Springville, Evergreen Cemetery.
Mapleton. It's
Springville.
It is Springville. It is called Springville.
Okay. All right. That's a wrap. Okay, it's Mother's Day today. What are some of the ways you and your mother are alike?
Oh, I don't even know. I don't even.
You said here that you both love to cook. Is that true?
And liking to go shopping.
You know, she liked to go shopping.
No.
Did she like to cook too?
And she liked to cook.
Okay. What are some of the ways you and your mother are different?
Oh, I like to be on time, and my mother could care less. She usually comes in to fix her hair when it's time to be to an appointment.
Okay. How would you describe your relationship with your mother?
My mother and I were really close. In fact, it was more of a companion sort of relationship. In fact, my dad would go to bed early, and Mother and I would take off and go to Payson, go for a hamburger or something. And I had a lot of fond memories of being with my mother.
Did she help buy your? Did she go shopping with you when you got your dresses for the dances?
My mother always made sure I had a new dress for some dance that was coming up, some celebration that they would hold a dance, and my mother would go to Penzance and Payson, and I would always get a new dress for the dance.
What else did you do with your mom?
Oh, we did. My mother helped me a lot with my studies. In fact, I think my mother even wrote one of my themes. I had to revise it and so it sounded like my work, but my mother even wrote when I had a theme that was due for school. She would stay up at night. I would be out on a date and she would be up writing my theme.
What parts of your mother's parenting style did you adopt, or would you like to adopt? What did your mom, as a parent, what did your mom do that you've done with your own children? Sit back.
What did my mother do? Well, the washing and ironing and baking and sewing, cooking.
So she was a hard worker.
My mother even worked out on the farm, even run a tractor out on the farm. My mother helped my dad, and my mother worked from daylight till dark, making sure there were meals on the table, and we used to churn butter. And
did she discipline you when you did something?
My mother even milked the cow. She didn't depend on my dad. She even milked the cow and fed the animals.
Did she discipline you, or was it always your dad? Did she discipline you, or was it always your dad that disciplined you?
Well, my dad was a disciplinarian. My dad was a disciplinarian.
So your mother never spanked you?
Oh, my mother chastised in a lot of ways, but my dad spanked, but my mother, to my knowledge, had never spanked. But my mother did other things that would withhold favors and things instead of a spanking.
Was she patient?
Did she what?
Was she patient?
My mother was patient, yes.
Okay. How old were you when you finally appreciated your mother as an individual with her own history?
Oh, about 14.
When 14 or 15 years of age? Why then?
Well, I was a little old enough, but I had kind of grown away from the rest of the siblings, and I kind of was more on my own.
Okay. What, did your mom ever talk about her youth?
Did my mother ever talk about what?
When she was younger, did she ever talk about how she, what she did when she was younger?
Yeah, my mother would tell me a lot of even the dates that she would go on, yes.
Well, come on, elaborate. Give me some more details.
Did what?
More details, please.
Well, I don't know too much. The only thing that mother, we used to take me down on Easter with a car. We go Eastering, and my mother did a lot of things. And my dad was busy working on the farm.
Yeah, but you didn't say what she did when she was younger. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, well, I don't know what my mother, I guess, helped Grandpa and Grandpa, and I don't know. Mother was good to Grandma always left her the piano room to clean, and Mama didn't like to dust, but Grandma Jensen always gave Mama the job of dusting the furniture.
What about her dating years? Did she tell you about some of her dates?
Oh, my mother had school chums, but as far as dates, I don't think she had too many dates till she met my dad. And then my dad and what would go on. My dad had the first car in Santaquin, and I don't know, my dad was one of 9 children, but he was able to save enough money to buy a car, and so a lot of their activities, Dad would take them in the car.
What was your relationship with your grandmother?
Oh, I had a wonderful relation with my grandmother. My grandmother always made sure that I was looked after. She always came over and she would tell my mother, now Della shouldn't be doing that. That's too hard a work. But my grandmother always, I spent a lot of times at my grandmother's house visiting, but I had an Aunt Rose, and the two of us would play in the attic.
It's June 10th, 2018. We're talking about mothers and motherhood. So, Mother, what was the nature of your relationship with each of your grandmothers?
It was closer than mother and daughter. I had a real good relationship with Grandma Jensen. I had even stayed with her a number of times in Goshen.
What did you do when you went to go visit her? What were some of the activities that you did when you went to go visit Grandma Jensen? What are some of the things you did when you visited her?
Oh, Grandma would teach me to play the piano. She played, I love coffee, I love tea, I love the boys, and she let me that little ditty. And Grandma would put me in the piano, and then I got to play with up in the attic upstairs, and she would get some dresses and I would dress up, and Grandma would take me to the store, and she would always buy penny goods for me.
Oh, that sounds fun. What about your other grandma? Did you spend any time at her house, Grandma Greenall?
Well, my other grandma was old, and she had 9 children, and my other grandma had too much on her plate to have. I didn't have that much relationship with Grandma Greenhouse.
Okay. What did Grandma Jensen ever teach you anything? What lessons did you learn from her?
Well, my Grandma Jensen taught me that you get up early, you get your work done, and she would have her washing out of the line, and she would always brag that she would beat the neighbors. They used to have pulley clotheslines, and Grandma she would even recite how many sheets she'd wash, and she always had things going.
Isn't it Grandma Jensen that actually took the train or took a transportation to go to your mom's house to help with the ironing?
There was it was called a little mail truck, and it came from Silver City up by Eureka, and Grandma Jensen would I don't know whether she had a friend with the driver or what the deal was, but she would come in that little mail truck, and she would iron all day long for my mother. But then she would take and she would catch the little mail truck on his trip back. So, but she would always, she'd used to leave Grandpa a bowl of tapioca or something, but she never worried about fixing a meal for Grandpa. But Grandpa had bad stomach trouble, and but she would always make sure she had a bowl of tapioca and the table set. Then she'd come over. She would work all day long for my mother's ironing.
Why was she ironing for your mom?
What?
Why was she ironing for your mom? Was your mom sick or something?
No, my mother shoveled coal. My mother did farm work. My mother milked cows. She fed the pig. She fed the animals. And anyway, fixed the meal. My mother was a good cook, and she made sure there was 3 meals a day. So she had plenty to do. But no, she didn't worry about Grandma Jensen and doing the ironing. See, she had enough to do without worrying about that.
So she didn't like to iron, or she just didn't have time?
No, Grandma just felt sorry for Mama because, see, Mama had little kids that she had to iron.
Okay, so if you're looking at the time that your grandma grew up in, did she have some challenges or hardships because of the time?
It was hard times. There was not a lot of money. There wasn't like we had to go to the grocery store now. She would have to program it so maybe days ahead before she would even plan on going to the grocery store. But no, it was hard times back there, and Grandpa didn't make a lot of money. He was the rail car on the tracks, but
he did what on the tracks? Was he an engineer on the train?
well, no, he drove what they call it. It would clear the tracks for the train. He drove the car. That's what Grandpa did for a living.
He worked for the railroad. I didn't know that. Okay. Did anybody else? Was anybody else influential as a mother figure for you? Somebody that you really admired through your life? Somebody you idolized? You thought they were wonderful as a mother, and you wanted to be like them? No.
Well, I had an aunt that tried to. Oh, she always Ellis worked in the mines, and Verona used to always tell me, now before Ellis would go home, she would go in and she would have her shower, put makeup on. She says, you look presentable. When your man comes home from work or comes home, you make it presentable so it is a pleasure for him to come home.
Mm-hmm. So that was a lesson that you appreciated when you got married then, or what?
Did he what?
Did you apply that in your marriage?
Absolutely. I realized that you could go with a dirty house dress and then not even be concerned about it. But even Grandma Christensen would insist on me having a nice dress, and she said, you're entitled to it.
So tell the story about how Grandma Christensen got you a maternity dress.
I didn't hear what you said.
Grandma Christensen got you a maternity dress, right? When you got pregnant, Grandma Christensen got you maternity clothes?
No, Grandma Christensen was old when I got married.
I thought she's the one that you said bought you a dress and brought it over.
That was your dad's mother.
I said Grandma Christensen.
Yes, that was Grandma Christensen.
What did she do?
She walked all the way from 5th South and way east and walked clear down to First North to give me a maternity dress, so I'd have a nice maternity dress.
Isn't she the one that sent chickens in the mail too or something?
That was Grandma Jensen.
Oh, that was Grandma Jensen that sent
Yeah,
chickens in the mail?
Yeah, Grandma Jensen used to get up, do her washing, and go out and cut the heads off the chicken, clean them, and put them in a. I don't know whether we didn't have plastic bags then. I don't know how she wrapped them, but she would send them, and we would get the chicken the same day. I don't think you could get the mail from Goshen now the same day, but we would get the chicken. She would have the raw chicken in the mail.
Wow. Oh, just to help you out, huh?
Well, of course it helped you out. It was always nice to have.
Fresh chicken, huh?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay, so right now, how does society view motherhood? How is it different now than when you became a mother?
Well, I think your discipline has gone down the hill. It is. They didn't have the strict discipline that they had younger when we were raising our family, but no, the discipline is different.
So, talk about potty training.
About what?
Potty training.
Well,
How did you potty train?
I potty trained Larry 9 months when he was just able to sit up, and even the family commented that I couldn't do that, but he was completely potty trained by the time he was a year old.
Wow. Did you do that with all four?
Well, I even Larry helped me with minutes to potty train. I even got pictures of Larry. I used to go out on war bond during the war, selling war bonds, and I'd come home and Larry would have minutes sitting on the pot. He would help me train minutes.
So was Ronnie and was I potty trained by the time I was a year old too?
I potty trained all my kids early. I didn't let them go until they were a year and a half and 2 years old. No, I had every one of you potty trained.
Wow. So as a mother, was being a mother different than what you expected?
No, I can't see that it would be any different being a mother.
How was it challenging? How was it difficult being a mother? Were there difficult times being a mother?
Oh, not, well, I'm not sure. I went to activities. I belonged to different clubs and things, so I worked all right. I worked okay.
How was it you were able to go to activities? Did Larry babysit?
Well, Larry, I raised a babysitter before I had my second child. Larry was 7 years old before I had my second child. But
so did he help take care of?
But Larry, I've even got pictures of Larry tending Venice.
Okay. So now we're moving on to fathers. In what way are you and your father alike?
Oh, we like to work. Like to work outside, and I enjoyed the farm field. But my other sister stayed to help mother, but I chose to go with my dad.
What was his personality like?
Oh, my dad had a temper, and he was fun to be with. And like I say, my mother was kind of a nag, mother always found fault, but my dad used to brag whenever we do some little something wrong. Why he would brag, oh, Della did this and they did that, but he was good to work with.
Did he have, what were his interests? Was it just farming?
Well, he worked at the mine.
What did he do at the mine? Did he just go up there to pick up coal, or did he actually work in the mine?
He worked at the mine, a silver mine. He worked
because Larry said that he didn't.
He absolutely did. In fact, he even stayed up at the mine for a week at a time. And then he'd come home. I had a doll for Christmas, a little movable doll. And my dad used to come home with powder headaches from working at the mine. Yes, my dad, that's the reason my dad ended up running a coal yard, because he wanted to get away. He worked for a whole week and even stayed the weekend up at the mine.
Well, what about the doll? You never finished the story about the doll.
He came home and I was just playing, I guess, with the doll, making too much wreck. Of course, he had a powder. They used to have what they call a powder headache, but it was from working in the mines. And he took the doll and threw it across the floor. He told me to shut up and see. But I never will forget him breaking that doll.
And you just gotten it for Christmas?
Beg pardon?
You just gotten it for Christmas that year?
I don't know when I got it, but
Did he replace it?
No, absolutely not. No. We didn't have money to replace things like that, no.
I'll bet that was upsetting. How are you and your dad different?
Well, my dad had a temper. I don't feel like I've got a temper. My dad had a temper, and my dad did not like to go on trips. I loved going on trips. My dad, we would get ready to go up and take a watermelon and take the truck and go up the canyon and just have an outing. But my daddy, we would have to pull strings and work every angle to get him to go. But he always had a water turner, something on the farm that he would rather do than he would go with us.
Didn't you say that he got mad at Grandma because she liked to visit? He got mad at Grandma because she liked to talk to people?
Well, Grandma loved, my mother loved to talk on the phone. And that's the way she did a lot of her visiting. And he come in one day and in the cupboard, and my dad wasn't one to fix anything, but he come and fixed her a piece of bread and peanut butter, and he said, I figured you'd be hungry, because she was talking so long on the phone. But
okay. How do you strive to follow your father's example? How do you try to emulate him?
I don't know. You better leave that blank. I don't know how.
Well, if he was a hard worker, don't you believe in hard work?
Yeah, my dad was a hard worker.
You said on the answer here something about school. You said you wanted to do better in school.
Yes, my dad. Yeah, my dad did encourage us to go to school. And,
he did or did not?
What?
He encouraged you to do well in school? Did he encourage you to do well in school?
Yes, he did.
And so you felt like you needed to get straight A's or what?
Oh, I don't remember. I don't know. No, my dad thought, at one time my dad would have even pulled me out of school to help on the farm, but no,
So he thought that work on the farm was more important than education?
Well, I'm sure. I don't know.
What about Grandma? You said Grandma actually helped you with your homework.
My mother.
Yeah, what did she do?
Not my mother. My mother would go to Fazans and buy me a new dress and do a new formal, and I would go on a date, and I would have a theme that was due at school or the Payson. I went to Payson high school, and I had a theme that would do, and mother, while I was out on a date, my mother would write my theme, but I would have to come home and read my, of course, so it wasn't in my mother's handwriting, and all mother's ideas, but she used to even write my theme while I was out on a date.
Didn't she help you with spelling too?
Yes, my mother would spend a lot of time working with
So you do well on spelling tests
Yeah.
and so on?
Yes, I even won a spelling test at Payson High School. I guess it was, I don't know, it was Payson, well, it would be the high school.
You won a spelling contest?
Yeah, it wasn't a big contest, but I did win the spelling contest.
Did you get a certificate or something?
I'm sure I did, but don't tell me where it is.
Oh, okay, because I haven't seen it. Besides working with your dad, did you do anything else with your dad that was fun?
Mostly work on the farm.
What about your mom? She liked to go on trips, didn't she?
My dad would go. My dad had worked real hard, but he got up early. Dad was an early riser. Dad never slept beyond 7, 8 o'clock. And anyway, my dad would go to bed early. He would go to bed like 7 o'clock at night, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And mother would say, we used to have Fairbanks scales, and whenever we'd go out to weigh on the Fairbanks scale, we would drop whatever we got for weighing the customers. Then we'd drop it in a coin, and mother said, "Come on, Della, we've got some money, let's go down there. It wasn't Callaway's. Callaway's was Santaquin, but it was a place in Spring Lake. So we'd go down. My dad would be to bed, but mother and I would go down and get us a hamburger. And we did quite a bit of things. And my mother loved to read. She loved romance stories, but she would have to hide them under a cushion. My dad thought that was the most frivolous, nonsensical thing she could do. And so, but anyway, I would read with her, we would read, and she would read. But if Dad happened to get up, boy, she would throw the magazine underneath the cushion.
So he didn't know she was reading?
My dad hated these true story magazines.
Oh.
He would gather them up and burn them.
Really?
You know.
He felt like she was wasting her time, huh?
Well, my dad, he thought that was stupid.
Did you go on any vacations with your mom and dad?
I went back east with my dad. He bought a new car for Dodge. He bought a car for Dodge Denver. My dad bought a big truck. And when we went back to get the truck, we went back to Michigan. And then we had the car mounted on the truck. And so I went back, and I believe I went to the World Fair with my dad. I can't remember, but I know that the other girls were upset because I was the one that got to go. And I think I went to a World Fair with my dad.
Where was the World's Fair?
Well, it was back east.
Chicago?
Yeah, I think so.
Did you go on any trips with your mom?